Hey, welcome to the process. My name is Dr. John Bush. This is a continuation of my slice and dice of ADP versus end of the season PPR point averages by positions. We are moving to the running backs part one. And if you haven't seen the quarterbacks, 3 videos for you to take in here. Again, to me, this is my process. This is what I do. I make money at fantasy football. This is one way to do it. And so you can follow along, I guess. Many won't. In fact, most won't. In fact, almost everybody you'll ever meet in your entire life won't. But if you're listening to me, you're one of the rarefied few that gets to look across into the curtain behind it and see how data analysis can be done. So we're talking about RBs here. And let's see, will this work? There we go. Okay, so my first figure is, here we go. So, not sure how I started the quarterbacks, but here's running backs, 2015, 2023. All running backs drafted in round 1 to 14 by year, and then the total across the 9 years. Unsurprisingly, the first round ends up having the highest average. But notice round 2, percent-wise, it's really not that far off. And in fact, and I don't know if I calculated this, but that is damn skewed. Let's see here. What is this? 233 divided by 222, about what, 90-something? No, that's not right. Come on, John. Or maybe it's, I guess, 96. 232, I guess 96, pretty, okay, 95.6. So it's basically 96%. But look at the third round and the fourth round. So I think this, when I see this, this tells me that there are bargains in the second round for RBs that are there historically. And everybody knows in that top round you're probably getting the tops RBs of the season. But I think round 2, I think the takeaway for me when I just casually look at this, round 2 has a lot of opportunities. So as we get closer to draft season, it's March now, August, I think you need to do your opposition research with the RBs in round 2. What is going on there? Okay. I mean, so in round 1, the question is, are they as good as everybody thinks? Round 2, why are they in round 2? What are people missing? So 2 different questions, 2 different situations. And again, you're saying, well, nobody's asking that question that I know of. I mean, I don't know what they're doing out there. But then I'm insulated. I don't really pay a lot of attention to the noise out there and, you know, people banging pots and pans around and, you got to go your own journey. You got to be a data pilgrim and you got to go your own journey. So it's time to break away. If you wanted the opportunity to break away, I'd say follow what I'm doing. Learn how to build databases, learn how to do analysis. I would take, I don't know if you've had stats in your life, take you an online stats course at a local community college or university. It is worth your time to take that, or audit it at least. Get you that knowledge if you do not have that knowledge. No excuse. If you want to put more money in your pocket, that's what I would do. I've had let's see, about 5 semesters of background stats in my life. Plus, as a biologist, I've been doing data analysis basically since I started school in 1977. So I haven't quit. Okay, so these cartoon guys on Twitter and whatnot, I don't know how long they've been doing this, I don't know. I'm telling you what I've done. Published papers, written grants, trained graduate students, lectured on microbiology, cell biology, molecular genetics, virology, bacteria, whatever. Okay, I'm deep into it. Okay, so how did I start? I got background. So there's reading material you can take. There are courses on stats to understand probability, these kind of things. It is time to educate yourself. And that would be my number one advice, is educate yourself with data analysis and understand stats. And that's the hardest thing in the world because our thinking is not necessarily statistically bound. In fact, you've got to make yourself think of things, because you can't be so analytical that, you stick your head in the weeds and see what's making that noise, because it's the saber-toothed cat chewed your head off. So remember, we had that fight or flight. That is ingrained in us. We are the survivors. Our ancestors had that knowledge and beat into them. And the ones that didn't get it right, they're taken care of, and they're not here. So in fantasy football, the thing is, the selection is really not applied, because people lose money and they come back next year, and they keep coming back. And it's just like, okay, well, thank you. We'll take some more of your money next year. So to me, that's all about it there. Okay, so that was my diatribe here. So I look just overall. So you can look at this data just overall, and you can look at round 5 and 6. And to me, it's in some ways 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 is a lot alike. And then look at round 10. It completely changes at that point, folks. So thinking you're going to get a bargain after round 10, it's just not going to happen. Okay, statistically. If your diary says different, good for you. But this is the reference class forecast. This is what's happened before. This is an expectation, overall expectation that everybody faces, and it seems like it eludes people. It's like dealing with moon dust. They've never seen this stuff before. It's very amazing how people ignore this or just focus on stuff. I can't even call it data, just stuff that's out there. So it's time to get real. Those of you, the few that are listening, urge you to get real. If you're a student of my videos and you want to engage, you're certainly welcome to interact. Try to interact. I don't know if I'll have time to do it. I feel like every day I got to do things. Okay, I'm driven. Okay, feels like I'm on fire. Feels like I'm already behind and it's March. Okay, that's just that feeling like, man, I need months and months of research. That's how serious I take this. And frankly, I don't know the rest of these cartoony guys on Twitter. I have no clue what they're doing out there. But it should be 24/7. And if it's not, I'd find some place that they are serious. because I question the seriousness of any of them. So that's just me. I'm hardcore. So trends. You can look, and I did colorization of the highs and lows just to see what you see. Look at 2023. Looks like round 3 was pretty good. So last year, it looks like rounds 1, 2, and 3 had opportunities. 4, 5, 6, probably 7, and it looks like round 8 was sad. And historically, it's been kind of sad. Looks like round 9, something's going on. Notice over the years, round 9 has perked up things. I think there's something going on in round 9. I don't know why that is. I don't know if just by chance it turns out these hidden RBs that could pop more than you think are coming in about that time. But I'm wanting to understand what's going on in round 9. Okay, it's too early now, folks. It's way too early, but just in the back of your mind, something. Look at that. Look at the greens. Let's just call it 2015, 18, 22, 23. In 2016, it was round 10, the only time. So it was almost close to round 9. So we're talking a lot of years that round 9 has been very good to a lot of people. So I think there's something going on. I don't know if that's just human nature. I don't know if we're picking up. Something is being missed there. And that's the whole point, is value, right? That's what value is. Value means it's being overlooked by a lot, but the impact, value of those guys, it's clear there's something going on there. So that's another takeaway when I look at this data. Round 10 through 14, you're grasping at straws. There's been some interesting years, but it gets lean quick. You can see I've got metrics to let us look at those few exceptions. And you're saying, well, I should spend a lot of time hunting. That's the thing. Unless you have some knowledge that you're really good at hunting in those areas where it's freaking desert, I'm not sure that's the best use of your time. I mean, if you do have the time, that's certainly where I think a lot of people try to find the sleepers, the breakouts, and all this other jargon. And that's why I call it jargon. I don't call it definition, because nobody really defines definitions. We do not have a scientific society to establish weights and measures and definitions. Care what's said on Twitter, that's not a scientific society. And until there becomes a PhD in fantasy sports informatics, which, if any college or university person is leading that, probably from information science or some of those other areas, I'd be glad to be involved in that journey, but I'm not the champion here, and I'm not sure the champions will come forth. But that's what should happen. Establish a society, and that allows definitions and weights and measures and things to be established. Standard operating procedures, SOPs, at this point are established. And so right now it's just fringe. People come down from the hills, do a few things, flip back up. It's almost guerrilla handicapping. Here, you pop up, you do your business, you go back in your hole. It's whack-a-mole. Okay, so let's continue. Box and whiskers. Box and whiskers allows us to look at a population, and this is 2015 to 23. And this is in fourths. It's like you took a pie and cut it into 4 pieces. Okay? The top whisker, that's why it's called the box, and the whisker. Top whisker is the top 25% of the population. That's where the good folks are. The sadness is the bottom whisker, and most everybody else is in the box. Okay, that's 50% of the population. So I kind of drew a line, and you can see that there seems to be a slow increase over time. Okay, not super dramatic, but there is some increase. 2023, the box top here, right here, at the top of the box, was one of the highest we've seen since, what year was this? 2019. So 2019, 2023 have been the exception. Those were good years as far as box tops, but look at the population spread, really high. The top whiskers have been highest in the last 2 years. So there's been really some outstanding. I know there's some dots or outliers here. Probably CMC, definitely outliers here. Notice, I think, 2020, is that COVID year? Here's the COVID. So some of the weaker boxes, and then 18, let's see, 15, 16, 17, 18. Pretty sad box tops if you look at it. Okay, so things have really improved the last couple of years. So if you drafted and you really conquered the wide running backs last year, be aware that what happened last year was an exception to the 9-year rule. There's already happened twice. Okay, I know 2022 is kind of like that. But that's an understanding that's hard to imagine. People don't have this kind of long view. That's why top-down and fantasy gives you such a viewpoint that people miss. And if you publish this and put it out there and made statements, people, yeah, whatever, next. People don't want that. Why don't most of the people want this? Cause it is too much to think about. Don't want to think about it. I can make money without it. Okay, now, do you really? Okay, really? At the end of the day, are you happy with what you're doing? I propose not. I propose that, whatever happened last year is gone. It's called, in my day, we had a toy, Etch-a-Sketch. You drew something, you shook it, it's gone. And I think people treat every year kind of like that. Like there's no connections, there's no, meaning to any kind of distribution and data. It's all flim-flam. Well, that's probably why I'm making money, because that's not what I've been trained to do, right? Data's data, and there are understanding of systems and what systems do, and putting together the components in systems and the interactions is the hardest thing to do, is trying to spot, especially if the system is multi-dimensional, and we're probably missing a lot of interactions. So just realize what you think you see is never, even though it looks crystal clear, is not. There's depth and things you're not even seeing. And so that always makes me nervous and scared. So I just realized that's just a limitation. It's kind of like you're going in with one hand tied behind your back and you don't even know it. And that's the scary, you don't know what you don't know. And that's the scariest thing in any kind of system breakdown. And certainly in biology, it's always that way. We think we understand a system, and it's just so dynamic, and there's multi-dimension interactions that are just never quite what you think it is. So I do warn you about that. But last year was really, really great as far as interactions. Just be aware that whatever happened last year, imagine we're back to 2017, right? Or 16 or 15. Or you see how if we're back, then that implies that the whisker gets short. Okay, and we hadn't had short whiskers in a long time. That means that the outliers, the upper crust, the best, are definitely beyond the pack. So the longer the whisker, the more that effect is. So that's what I'm interested in. Look at the whisker for the last few years, last 4 years. It's been a big whisker. And there's been 3 years that the whisker's been thin and short. So that implies in 2015, if you did 0 RB, I bet you did well. 2016, I would predict you did well. Maybe 18 maybe? I don't know about the other years, how, 2020, the whisker was kind of short. So you almost are guessing the population. So the question is, can we predict what the box will look like for 2024? There's the trick, isn't it? If I knew, let's just say we could draw the box and we knew exactly what it was, what an advantage that would be, because we would know how to proceed. If it's like 2023, then that would imply there are some elite RBs that would probably put money in your pocket. And the variance in the box would mean there's a lot of difference on the upper part of the box versus the lower. So again, this elite, this pushing towards the earlier RB drafting, I think 2023 was more that way than not. Whereas previous years, it probably was different. So you kind of think about how you approach the tiers. And if we get another 2023, 2024 that looks like 2023, I would say having some early RBs is probably to your advantage, not 0 RBs. Again, this is talking big group. If your diary data says you're good, last 9 years I'm always good, then great. Ignore what I'm saying. But for the rest of us, we have to consider how we do and figure that out. Okay, so let's see what the next figure is. So here's draft rounds. So I'm going back now by draft rounds and asking the population over the 9 years. And what we're seeing here, and it's kind of hard to see. I don't know if I can. Looks like I have to stain each one of these damn things. Oh, well, that's... maybe a pink. Will pink look good? Uh-oh. You didn't like that. Me tried to make it pink, did it? Oh, no. I think my Excel didn't like me effing around here. And there's one right there. I don't know why it does that. I can make it bigger. That's good. Maybe that's what I need to do. And here's round 3. So these numbers are giving us information about the metrics of the whiskers and the box and the median. And I drew the orange line, which I'm saying is kind of, this is kind of near average for rounds 1 and 2. Notice the round 1, notice how variable it is, folks. That should be really concerning. round one historically in RBs has been the most uncertain. The rewards are there, and even most of what you'll get, it's not bad. You know, total points for the year, 160 something. You're saying, that sounds pretty good. And I don't know how we measure this yet. I hadn't had time to do that, but draft value, your first pick, and if you're down here, that's not good. If you're up at is that 260? Yeah, 260 to 280, that's good. So there's the whisker here. So we're talking 100, 120, 30 point different. These win leagues, this doesn't for your round one. So you lost here. You have an opportunity, but notice it's very risky. So I would put a lot of effort into that. Round two, in some ways, is less uncertain. It's almost putting money in your pocket. And you're not taking a lot of the downside, even if you're grabbing these later ones, can be higher than some of the later ones in round one. And your draft value, obviously, you're in second round. So that's something to consider. Look at round 3 and 4, completely different. Some of the best are still, even the best, round 3 best, 217, not even close. They're about half of round 1, half of round 2. So at best, the best round 3 overall last 9 years has just been about average for round 1 and 2. So at best, you can get average 1 or 2 value. At best. At worst, you're getting way below round 1 and 2 average here. Round 4, about the same thing, 180. You're definitely do you trade for a round 2 or round 4 in your draft of RB? You definitely want round 2. I mean, it's double almost the journey there. I understand the extreme whisker can put you really nice at draft round. This is what everybody wants, the top of this whisker for round 4. 0 RB people really want this. Hard to get, folks. That is rare. People think, oh, they're just like apples on the tree. Let me just go pick them. No, that is rare. Okay, care. You're saying, well, everybody can pick those. Okay. No, this data says that is not the case as far as the public there. Here are, and I left the orange lines here, rounds 5 to 9, where they are here. So gives you a perspective. So realize the top line is about average round 1 and 2, bottom line average 3 and 4. And now at this point, round 6 and round 9 are giving you opportunities here. Round 5 a little bit, but round 5, 7, look at 8. Look at round 10. You talk about sadness. Big time. So, and I guess that should be round 10, huh? Yeah, I guess. It is clear at this point, thinking that you're going to get a round 1 value play. It hadn't been done, folks. Look at the top whisker. Only here, only round 9 did we have some that could deliver great value. If you ask me where the sleepers, where the value is, it's round 9 historically. And I know round 10 has been pretty good, but look at it's kind of like most of the fish you pull out of minnows. Every once in a while you get a shark, but it's rare. But it's there. So there's something going on here in these rounds that maybe is worth your time. A lot of these look about the same. I understand round 6 seems to be a little different. So I definitely want to put extra research in round 6, definitely round 9, maybe round 10. Just looking at the experts here, or looking at those. Okay, I think that's enough for now. I've gone 30 minutes. I didn't mean to. I get off on the tangent. Folks, this is sweet data. I just can't tell you. If you know this, believe it, and think about it, and see it, and live it, I think you got a big advantage over your league mates. That's all I can say. Okay, Dr. Bush for his process for the science of fantasy football. Come back. We'll do part 2, etc. for RBs coming up. Woo woo.